Hi team. Let's see if we can come to a complete awakening, a full and total realization of the truth of one's being. Let's see if we can come to the full, complete, experienced recognition of the pure awareness of being. Let's see if we can experience this for ourselves, not to create a conceptual model of reality, not to come to an intellectual understanding of awakening and inner peace. But let's see if we can actually go directly to that inner peace today, in this single session. Let's see if we can use this session, this contemplation, this meditation today, to come to the fullness, the totality of the truth revealed through awakening. This must be experienced, because experience cannot be doubted. Once experienced, there is no further validation required. You do not need others to tell you about your experience, to validate or even value your experience. Once you have experienced the truth of this awakening, there is no further doubt. Let's see if we can go there, to the depth, to be immersed in the pure truth of being. Conscious awareness, unmixed, unmanifested, just the pure, peaceful, conscious awareness that is aware of the body and mind, but is not contained within the body and mind. Not limited to a single body and mind, but infinite, universal, ever peaceful, unbothered by the content of experience. Let's see if we can go directly to the heart of experience itself and realize the truth of being, and thus come to a place where there is no more suffering, no more turmoil, no more chaos, just this, and all is well. So this contemplation, this guided introspection and meditation today consists of 4 stages. But if you find during any of the stages that you are attaining peace through that particular contemplation, that particular pointing, then please feel free to stay in that pointing. Do not allow my words to pull you from peace. If you, in your experience, have come to a profound experiential understanding that is being pointed to, by all means feel free to pause the video and just be immersed in that particular profound point that you feel needs to pervade through the body and mind a little. Or simply follow my words as we gently go from stage to stage and be immersed in this experiential recognition of the truth of pure, universal, conscious awareness. It can be helpful and conducive to ensure we are in a space that will assist us in finding this serenity, this deep, profound introspection. So, if possible, come to an environment that is conducive to stillness and quiet. This is not always possible. Many are living very busy lives, so there may be noise, there may be some turmoil in the apparent world, and if that is the case, that's fine. It's just that quiet, silence and peace is preferred if possible. And set these moments aside and protect this time. That means you may wish to turn your phone or devices off or put them into a silent mode. Just giving yourself all of the advantages that you can, that are possible to create for yourself. But also understand that some distraction is almost inevitable. And if this happens, don't panic. Don't become frustrated. There will be noises, knocks at the door. Devices always find a way to beep or buzz or do something, even if you've turned them off. This is a clue as to the nature of how the illusory reality pulls your attention away from peace. Even when devices are off, they find a way to beep. But as best we can, coming to a position that feels the most comfortable, secure, conducive to your meditation, whatever that form that takes for you is fine. And deeply abiding in stage 1 here, let us find presence. Just be here, now. Just this. Come to recognize the truth of now. There is no next moment. The next moment simply never arrives. There is no previous moment. There is just this. Immersing in the depth of presence here. Recognize that we are not trying to ignore time. Instead, recognize the illusory nature of time. Time does not exist in reality. time can only exist in the mind. So recognizing the task here isn't to shut out time or push time away. It is to recognize there is no such thing, and there never was. So it's perfectly safe to simply discard this illusory false belief. There is no time. There is just now, just this. The mind will object to this, but that is fine. We can simply observe the mind trying to object. As the mind has been engaged in a habit of categorizing its experience within this framework of something called time. And upon releasing from the burden of time, the mind struggles to understand how to navigate and understand its own experience. Just be aware that the mind will struggle with this, and that is okay. Just leave the mind alone. There's no need to engage with any of the thoughts that are arising. There's no need to engage with any of the activity of the mind at all. No more words, no more images, no more analysis. Just observe all activity of the mind as equally unimportant for this time. Just drop all time altogether. Concepts such as seconds, minutes, hours are just like our measurement, our conceptual measurement of distance, centimeters, feet, meters. But we understand just as a tree is not made of meters. We can measure it in meters, but the tree itself is not made of meters. We can also understand life is not made of time. We can measure it in time, but life is not made of time. If there were no people, would trees still be measured in meters and feet? If there were no people, the tree would be free to just be. So too, if you simply drop the concept of time, life is free to just be. So all concept and imagination about future, all of those anxieties, all of those worries, and all of that anticipation for a happier time in future, just don't engage with any of that. The future is just a concept. There's nothing actually there. And so to a disengaging from any thoughts of past, all memory that can arise can only arise in the mind as imagination. images, thoughts, feelings. Even nostalgia can be quite painful. Nostalgia has its roots, the word comes from nostos, which is Greek meaning to return home, and algos, meaning pain. So nostalgia is a kind of homesickness, a longing to return home, a longing to return to something that has passed. But now we recognize there is no past. You have always been home. That happy time that you can remember is still happening now. It never passed. The only thing that changed was our habitual attaching to the content of the mind. And because of that belief in the illusory concept of time, we feel as though we moved away from those happier times. But it's not true. It's still that time now. And the peace, the security, the comfort, the freedom, the innocence of those happy times can be found now. This is the returning home. So stage one here is just pure presence. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. Nothing to be done. We're not going to go anywhere. No time will elapse. Just a grounding in what already is. No next moment. Just this. To deepen and to immerse in the true recognition of being. Nothing needs to change. All that we will be doing in the subsequent stages is shifting the position of the identity of awareness. A shift in perspective. To come to understand that all pains, all suffering, all of our stress, our worries, all of the problems of the mind are due to our habitual misidentification of our true self. The true self is aware of the body and mind, but is not contained within the body and mind. Is not trapped within the body and mind. Is not constricted by the body and mind, and thus does not share its vulnerabilities. It is not subject to the desires and fears of the body and mind. It is simply aware of everything the body mind experiences. So to be liberated, to be freed, be enlightened is to recognize the light of consciousness that shines upon the body and mind. So coming to the completion of stage 1, just grounding in the here and now, by becoming aware of everything that is currently being experienced. The sensations in the body, everything received by the senses. But notice that this happens automatically. You are not doing the senses. Just be open and recognize the senses are just automatic. You are just aware of this. In the here and now. No next, no previous, just this now. Just this. Not analyzing anything. Not creating new stories about anything. Just observing. Neutral. If you find that your mind keeps wandering, just return to the breath. Simply allow the breath to rise and fall, and all is well. Allow yourself awareness only of now. Be strict with the mind. Notice it continually wanders. Do not be frustrated by this. It's natural for the mind to try and continue its habit. But it is just a habit. Mind is an activity, it's not a thing. Mind is a doing. Just don't follow wherever it wants to go, just do not follow. Here and now, here and now. Moving into stage 2 here. Just immerse in the presence of this awareness. Nothing complicated here. So simple. So simple that the mind will say this is too simple. There must be more to it. There's not. Just be the awareness that is aware of the bodily sensations and all of the sense perceptions. Even being aware of the mind. But don't get too involved in the mind. Just be aware of the mind. Now, notice the awareness of your current experience. includes bodily sensations, sense perceptions, everything you can see, hear, touch, taste, smell, and all of the content of the mind. Now here, draw no distinctions between any of those things. We can create artificial categories to divide all of this up. But the one thing that all of these experiences have in common is that they are experienced. So here, just be the awareness of experience. And cease the activity of trying to judge experience. Do not name, do not label, do not analyze, do not interpret, do not form images. Just be aware of the totality of this one single experience. Just experience itself. And in this stage 2 here, we are going to move away from the body and mind. Just allow all the activity of the body and mind, all of the stories, the narratives, the story of you, your history, your future, your names, your numbers, all of that. Just allow it to just fall into the background. Turn away from all of that noise, that busyness. You've had enough of that story for now. We will be returning in stage 3, but this is stage 2, and all we're going to do here is vanish completely. All activity of the body, mind, world, narrative, all of that, it is done. Over. Complete. All is well. Just allow it to fall into the background in the same way that music playing on a radio can be left in the background, and sooner or later you just don't notice it anymore. In the same way, that traffic noise, when you first move in to a house or flat, the traffic noise really bothers you. But over the weeks, months and years, it just falls into the background until you no longer notice. That is precisely the same effect here. However, the entirety of life as you've been experiencing it thus far just fall into the background and instead become interested in the awareness itself. It's already here. We're not creating this. The awareness is already here. Just allow. Just be. Just observe. The entirety of that whole story that previously we were so invested in now simply subsides and rejoins. the universe, reality, whatever it is, let the body and mind rejoin. But just pay no attention. Instead, be interested in the awareness and recognize that is what you are. You are aware of awareness. That's it. It's not a concept. It's not a thought. This is being. You are aware of being, and that's all. Don't get involved in the body and mind. Wherever that is now, whatever that is, just don't get involved. It's not for you at this time. Now, all of those stories, that whole body and mind narrative that was continuing, felt so immediate and claustrophobic just moments ago, and now is subsiding. But what changed? Nothing happened. The only transformation here, then, is the shift in the perspective of awareness. Now, the body and mind, with all of its mind activity and narratives, undoubtedly suffers. That is very true. But now, abiding as the awareness, does the awareness itself suffer? Does the observer of experience suffer from the experience? Without our opinions attached, without our interpretation attached, the awareness just is pure, clear, a spectator. The awareness itself does not suffer, is not damaged, is not harmed, is not stained. So keep turning away from the content of experience for this stage, and instead simply abide, meaning to fully immerse and be as the awareness that is just an observer and does not suffer. There is great freedom here. Now, still here in this stage 2, could you ever be apart from this awareness? Could there ever be an experience without awareness? If there was no awareness, would there still be any experience? So this awareness can't go anywhere. Regardless of the content of experience, you simply must be the awareness in order for the experience to happen at all. Without awareness, there is no experience. And we just arrived at the conclusion that the awareness itself does not suffer. So you are always the awareness of the experience that is pure and clear, neutral, that is always present in all experience. The space in which all experience arises, much like the sky is always present regardless of the weather, awareness is always present regardless of the experience. Weather happens within the sky. Experience happens within the awareness. And the awareness itself is neutral, just observing. Could you not be this awareness? Could you be something else other than this awareness? Considering all elements of experience must happen with awareness present, could any experience happen outside of awareness? And could you be an experience that is happening outside of awareness? So this awareness is always there, and it's always you. Did it begin at some point? Has the awareness itself ever changed? Remember, we're not interested in the content of experience. This is the pure awareness of the experience itself. Has the awareness ever changed? You have been equally aware of all experience. The experience shifts and changes almost infinitely. But the awareness never changes. Was always here. It did not begin, it never changes, and it's never going to go anywhere either. Never. There have been many, many radical changes within the experience of one singular body-mind, but the awareness has not changed. It was here before the individual body-mind, and it will be here after the individual body-mind. So deeply immersing here in this stage 2, just completely ignore the entire body-mind. You were never this to begin with. Never. You have always been the awareness of experience. And upon simply leaving the body and mind to do its thing, it's fine. It can just carry on unfolding, not a problem. Just being the awareness of experience. Recognize that all ideas of a world and a universe and situations and circumstances belong to that body-mind. Doesn't belong to awareness. Belongs to the body and mind. It's the mind's conceptual framework of reality, the mind's understanding of the world. But that's all the mind. Awareness isn't concerned with any of that. It's not interested. So just be. What you're aware of, no longer important, just be aware. And not only does the body and mind vanish, the entire world vanishes too. There's no universe. It was only ever consciousness. It's all that was ever there. And nothing else. If your position of awareness has shifted, stay there. Don't worry about stage 3 until you feel fully established, secure in the pure consciousness of being itself. And when ready, remain as the awareness, pure, remember, neutral awareness, returning to the body and mind. And in this stage, we go towards the body and mind. Now, free. Aware that there is a body and mind here. Thoughts are continuing and emotions are continuing. Even bodily sensations are continuing. And there seems to be an apparent external world also. But now observe these things with the recognition that you are the awareness of these things. And now you are fully free to experience the totality of these things, knowing that just because you are aware of it doesn't mean that you are it. You are the awareness of it. And experience this now. How profound and different an experience this really is. Even all of the sensations, emotions, and narratives that you previously felt so much pain as a result of, now observe those same bodily sensations, narratives, thoughts, and emotions. Observe them exactly the same. They haven't changed. The only thing that's changed is the position of your identification. All of these things are now free to emerge, to have their time within awareness, and to subside. And all is well. Notice that these stories can no longer really stand. The ego cannot stand the pure light of awareness. All of the unnecessary suffering that is contained within our individual narratives no longer has any power. Just this. Just this. Just be. All is well. All emotions are safe here. No emotion can harm you. Emotion is an experience that is made out of awareness. The awareness itself does not suffer, so all emotion is now free to bubble up into the light of awareness. Let it be free. free to be felt in its totality. There is nothing to be afraid of now. Our usual habit when we are identified as an individual identity is to try and change emotions, to try and control. But let's not do that anymore. Just leave it. It's free. It's free to be as it is. It doesn't matter. And this pure light of awareness now, because one has come to the recognition of the truth of being, unafraid of any feeling, in total loving, impartial neutrality, can allow the emotion to be as it naturally needs to be. It needs to be seen. The problems began when the emotion was being repressed. But let it up. Let it be. And in this stage, as we come towards, we are turning up the vividness, the brightness, the saturation of all experience. Only do not make the mistake of identifying as the experience. Turn the saturation up. Turn the vividness up. Feel everything fully. The solution to pain is the pain. Turn it all up. But do not identify as it. Just remain as the neutral awareness, aware of this now utterly free, utterly vibrant, utterly raw, intense experience. Raw. At times brutal experience. Fine. Not a problem. All is seen. All is free to express. So in this stage here, just immersing, now free to feel the totality. Ordinarily, there are so many elements of experience we would judge as bad and wrong that we try to get rid of, but no more doing that. Just accept what is. There is great liberation here. Just this, and this, yes, and this. Now moving gently into the fourth and final stage. Again, all of the stages thus far, you may find beneficial to revisit and stay a while in that before moving through stages. Every individual expression is different, so what works, works. If it works, right? You will know it when it's working. Moving into stage 4 right here. An integration of both the away and towards approaches. by leaving even that. As we have progressed through stage 2 and 3, the mind will have begun to form a kind of concept and a model. Got ya. It will have done that. At some point it will have said, oh good, now the mind is feeling its own freedom, feeling its own liberation. It will have started to try and create a new concept, a new way of being, a new way of living. We must leave even that. Just keep leaving everything. The moment we identify with the mind, that's where the problems begin. Don't ever let it go to that stage. The peace is there. The mind will say, oh good, we now have a new way of dealing with emotions. That's not quite right. It's good. It's good. That has an innocence to it in itself, but ultimately, if we really want to do it, if we really want to be liberated fully, we must recognize that all emotion is fine. We don't need to deal with it. It was never broken. It was never broken. There was never anything wrong with you. Never. Not once. Not for a single moment. There has never been anything wrong with you. All emotion is fine. All experience is fine. Don't let the mind try and take this new awakening into some kind of fancy understanding of the world. No. We release the mind from service. All of those situations that you're worried about, and this, that, and the other, the future, the past, the narratives, the stories, it's finished. It was an illusion, the whole thing. We have seen clearly now. It's done. It's done. Stage 4 here is an integration of both the away and towards together. What is. Just let it unfold. The peace comes from the recognition of the truth, of your true self, the self-realization. You are the awareness of the being. And now you can take a back seat and just watch. And even if you feel there's a deeper layer somewhere, just observe that. Even if there are deeper layers of experience that you feel are somehow murky, shadowy, dark, just be aware of the shadowiness. Be aware of that darkness. Even if there's confusion or not quite understanding, just be aware of that also. You are the awareness. It doesn't matter how clear the darkness is. It doesn't actually matter. The light of awareness remains light, always. Yes, that too. And that. And that. Don't give any of it to the mind. The mind's habits may be innocent and rational, perfectly logical. The error is the identification with that mind activity. to integrate here. Awareness, the path of away. Just be the awareness and let the body, mind, world, the entire universe fall into the background, just a hum, just a buzzing hum. And you will be surprised at just how well, how healthily you are able to function in life just by allowing it to be running, doing it. It's all happening naturally. It's all happening automatically. You have no say in any of this. None. Let it be. And then if there's the intensity of something that requires that attention, then go towards, by all means go towards, but with the understanding you are the presence of being. And it's all free to be raw, even when you feel, no, something's gone very terribly wrong. Just be fully immersed in that feeling. Without mind activity, all experience just becomes just what is. Even bodily pain, even sickness, even chaotic situations, it just is. Relieve yourself from all of these burdens. This universe was never your responsibility to fix. The universe has never needed to be understood. Consciousness has never needed to be understood. It just is. It already is. So let go. Let it all go. Everything. Everything. The world gave you too much to do. Too much that was never within your power to control. As it turns out, nothing was ever in your control. Let it go. Let it all go. Integrated means neither away nor towards, but now whole, unified, complete. You may find it useful to go back through certain stages, or just keep running through the full process, the full contemplation. That has the effect of repeated washing through stains. You may find that useful. Or just taking one or two concepts or cheers. taking one or two pointings and just being with that. Just allow it to pervade through the being for a day. All is well. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. I always feel a huge sense of gratitude towards any being that is sincerely trying to liberate oneself from suffering, to realize a higher truth. Because by removing that shadow of darkness from the common stock of humanity, it actually makes awakening easier for everyone. Everyone. That's how it works. Like the water in a dock, when it rises, all of the ships go up, all of them. Perhaps another analogy would be if there are many clouds in the sky, making the day darker. When one cloud is removed, it brightens up the entirety of the day. So stay with this liberation, stay with this awakening. I feel a huge sense of gratitude to anyone who really does it, because it creates that space for the light to get through, and it makes the awakening easier for everyone. It has a cumulative effect. So when I say thank you, you know I mean it. And if everyone woke up, there'd be no more clouds in the sky. It would be a bright sunny day, on earth as it is in heaven, one might say. But that's everything for today's contemplation. If you have resonated with this talk today, and you want to help me and the channel out, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel, helps me to get the message out and show my pointings to more people. It just helps. And if you want to gain access to my exclusive guided meditations and talks, as well as join the Discord chat rooms of like-minded individuals committed to awakening, then you can join the channel memberships. Again, it all helps me to continue to put time, effort, energy and resources into this channel and all the materials that I produce. That's everything for today. Take care. Be well. And stay present.